Hola amigos, welcome to Life for Living Well channel. Please subscribe to keep the channel going. You can also check us out by visiting our website on www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Sit down and enjoy the helpful topic for this week. Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. And before we dive into the podcast this week, and before I give out the topic that we continue from, I quickly want to say my name is Richard and I will be your anchor for this week. And if you'd like to know more about our community, Life for Living Well, you can just check it out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. So I put everything together, lifeforlivingwell.com. And if you like to ask questions or you have a query, you can also drop me a message by using our contact form. I will try my possible best to get back to you as soon as possible. So let's dive into the topic for this week. We are coming toward the end of this series. So this is series 9 that we've been doing, and if you miss any of the part and you would like to trace it back, you can quickly check it out on the page on the website or the podcast page, and you can see some of the podcasts that we've done in the past. So this week, as a continuation of the last 8 episodes that we've done, so this week continue from there, and it's 10 practical resourceful skills. So the topic we're looking at this week is what I call financial education. And just want to share my insight and view, experience and observation of financial education, listening to people that are actually very expert in this field, but taking into consideration some of the tips and suggestions that are recommended, and how it worked personally for me and work for people around me, and how I think may work for you as well if you are open to experiment with it. So what is financial education? So when you hear education, sometimes formal education makes us carried away to believe that we have all the tools that we need. And the reality shows that we don't. We needed to embrace a life education where we continue to educating ourselves on areas that we are lacking or we felt like inadequate. But as usual, I normally start with the quotation of individuals that inspire in their faith. So today, I'm starting this podcast by quoting from Vince Shops, the CEO of National Financial Education Council. So what does it say about his observation about financial education? He said, college graduates spend 16 years gaining skills that will help them command a higher salary, yet little or no time is spent helping them save, invest, and grow their money. It cannot be far from the truth. I do know that in many years ago, one of the things I quickly know is how to make money, but I struggle to keep that money, to not even thinking grow it. And you need different kind of energy. You need one energy to make money. Yeah, many people can do it. Some people want to have developed themselves to amass more than you, but you can still make money. And so it depends on what you give in service. It will determine what you get back in return. But you also need different energy to keep that money, because whether you like it or not, there's so many things around you that will want you to spend that money. Whether you give it out to the family or friends, or you're a friend that always inviting you to go out just to keep their home company, and they take you to the restaurant that you don't normally go by yourself. But in order to be among or be accepted, you overdrive, you spend more than what you earn, and at the end, you always shorten yourself before the end of the month. Or you just depend on your salary or your income or your job without having creativity to think out of the box how you can grow that money. Because if you just keep it, it's not good enough. And if you just earn it and you spend everything, or you spend more than what you earn, it's also not good enough. So you put yourself in a position where it's difficult to grow your money. But without the education, it's very difficult to make a leap from one point to another point. And these are the things that I want to tackle in this podcast this week. And two things that you should be able to get out of this podcast is, number one, benefit of financial education. Number two, how you develop it. So it's not something that even sometimes your parent might not know it. And that is the good things about financial education. You have to continue reparenting yourself by educating yourself. That's what I mean. When you are an adult becoming 18, you already take a full part of knowing, finding yourself. And you also have to be comfortable to say no to a load of people. Some of them might not actually like you in return, and that is fine. That is fine, because their own expectation, their own entitlement, we demand to give away your resources. So you have to make that judgment. If it's something that you want to do, or something that you feel is inappropriate for you to do. So once you educate yourself really well, this area will become more easier for you, because you no longer use money to run away from the deep emotional issues. We as human beings, we use so many things to deal with uncomfortable things that we don't want to deal with. So that we use reason, that every time we feel negative emotion, we use reason to always be positive about it. That way of shutting ourselves. Or when we're angry, we eat, so we begin using the food as a way of coping with emotion like anger. And the same thing with spending. If we want to feel good about ourselves all the time, we just spend and spend and spend. Most times we buy things that we don't actually need. We want to impress people that don't really care about you. And you go all the way to do all those things. But once you have the financial education, you understand the importance what your money can bring into your life and bring to the life of people you have a contact or connection with, or the community that you live. You begin to be more taking proactive steps in looking after it. So, someone once said, there is no difference between someone that cannot read and the person that can read but won't read, because there's no advantage. And when you think about it, the first step of financial education is reading. Reading, listening, observe. And if you have the ability to read and comprehend, and you refuse to do that, then you have no advantage over the someone that cannot read. And people will have time to check the pictures of their friends or colleagues on the phone, and they can do that many times a day. People have time to drive all the way to just getting myself to something, but they cannot avoid just 20 minutes a day to just read. Pick something that you really want to know about it. And don't be afraid. Take a small step to start, and you will see massive difference. Read for knowledge. It's also good to read for fun, but mostly read for knowledge. You can find knowledge in the news magazine, you can find knowledge in the financial magazine, you can find knowledge even on the YouTube videos regarding the area that you want to understand. Our current generation has been blessed with a volume of information, including unhelpful ones. So you take understanding to be able to separate information that is valuable to you, useful, and the one that is not. Still, people seem to repeat the same mindset and behavior that was prominent in the previous generation before them. See, we keep doing the same thing. But our parent doesn't know about money. Only thing they know is work hard and keep that money and spend that money to buy things, pay your school fees, buy a book, and wait until another one comes. You don't have to repeat the same cycle. You could be the person that break that cycle, and you begin to have a different relationship with money. Realize that you create more of it based on the service that you provide. If you provide a relevant and essential service, the money comes. But you don't just go to the service and looking for the money. In fact, the money comes to you once you can provide a service that is essential and required and relevant. So your job is to identify area that you could become useful, utilize. So if you are like most people, they know how to make money, but it is difficult to keep it. Why? Or it's even more far difficult to grow that money. One of the story in the scripture is a man that distributed a talent to different people. And when the time comes, he called them back, invite them back, and he demanded them to give an account how they use the money that he gave them, which the scripture called talents. Some say, I know you are very smart, master. All I did is to hide this money that you gave me. You gave me 1 shilling, I bring 1 shilling back to you. So, and all of them give that account. Some of them don't have anything to return. Some of them use the money unwisely. Resources gone unwisely, and they have no account for it. Money gone. And the one that he gave a lot to came back by double, by triple what he gave him. And the master gave the person more. So the funniest thing about the money is that have you ever asked yourself that people that seem to possess more money, they seem to attract more of it because they utilize it even much more better than the people that seem not to have it. Because when you understand the principle of money, is all about multiplying it. So if you put £100 in your account and your bank is happy to pay you, at the moment they pay very, very, very low interest rate, especially that the inflation is almost 10% now. They pay you, let's say they pay you 1.3% every month for just interest only. So if you think about it, every month your money is not just £100. It go up by extra £1.30 or £1.31. And when you leave it like that for a period of time, And the next month, the money is no longer £100, become 101. Compound interest come on top of it. That is the way the money grows. And if you bring the same thing to your life, that your skills, your work, every year you try your best to increase your ability to provide quality service. You create more opportunity for yourself to open different doors. The same thing. It's simple, but we don't actually do it. It's either because we don't have a desire to make that happen. But I'm telling you that one of the ways you make this leap of change is educating yourself. So there was a research about how the average American spend $400 a year on lottery tickets that they didn't have for emergency savings. So these are the people that they want money, they want to be rich. So they blow away almost $400 a month, a year on just lottery tickets, just to be a millionaire. But the same people don't have $400 in their emergency account. And one of the things you try to do is avoid unnecessary, especially consumer debt, like credit cards or shop cards. And also put aside some money for your emergency need. At least financial experts say you should have at least 3 to 6 months. It depends on your situation. It depends on where you are. You might be comfortable with 1 month. You can be comfortable with 2 months. But I say 3 months of your essential expenses. So with that, when you have your car broke down, or you have your cat or dog that you have to take for the vet treatment, and you need to spend about $300, you do not need to lash on your credit card to do that, or asking and running around asking your friends and family to chip in for you. And what is that done for you? It takes a lot of financial stress out of your mind, because some of the physical illnesses that we have today, 90% of it has to do with excessive stress in your body, in your mind. And you have to look into so many areas your bucket is linking, and try your possible best to fill it. So sadly, hardly anyone thought about money in school, including those who study economics, finance, and accounting. You would think that people that study, that their major subject in school is economics, accounting, they know about money than you. You'll be mistaken. They know the money in academic way, how the money flow and run in the economy in the country. But the actual financial education, how you handle the money on a personal level, how you expand that money, how you invest that money, they have no idea. Most of them don't. So they also have to read and educate themselves to know about it. So this podcast won't teach you either about money, but we try to make you think about it. So it will be difficult it will be too elaborate to suggest that Life for Living Well is a financial expert and is going to teach you about the money. That's not true. And I'm not capable to do that for you because I'm not a financial expert, but I can make you think, so you can use this podcast as a source as a signpost that directs you to the right place where to get the information that you need to educate yourself about money. So today, money alone creates stress in our relationship with our mental health and with others. You have no idea most of the things that I say, how money creates a lot of drama in people's relationships. And one of the things that money can also do when you are not wise is that the moment you announce you have money, you attract all kinds of people into your life. Some of the people that you attract might not actually be good for you. They are there to take. And it depends how you work on yourself, develop the wisdom how to manage it. But if you already have definite purpose of goals in your life and you have things that you want to make happen 2 or 3 years, maybe it requires you to invest heavily and you live your life on a budget. You set a financial budget what you want to spend weekly or monthly, and you only take what you need. You will find out that you don't need to worry about these people because you don't have that money flowing around your house, under your pillow, on your bank account that you can tap to it. You already, by the end of the month or end of the week or daily, depends how flow the money comes to your account. You already make an arrangement how this money should be distributed. So when the people now come, you can't spend what you don't have. But what the people that don't have money do most of the time, they spend their own money, they spend other people's money, and they also borrow the money to support their lifestyle. You do not need to do that. Once you have a good financial education, you will realize that you begin to have a different relationship with your money, with yourself. So there are limited beliefs people have about money, either from bad behavior of some people with money and the damaging effect it has on their physique. Relationship broke down due to inappropriate handling of money and lack of it most of the time. Many years ago, there was a story of a family in the news that the man used gambling their mortgage over £400,000 on the gambling, and he lost it. So he killed himself and he killed his family. This is totally sad way to end life. When people have a deeper emotional issues, the wrong thing to do is to use the money to control it, to support it. The right thing to do is to seek the right help to deal with that. So you see people that blew away their fertile resources such as time, money, wealth due to lack of education about money. So money becomes useless if you just keep it. If the only thing you do, you just spend it, you probably just spend it on wants most of the time rather than what you actually need. And what you need, you don't need a lot to be happy. You don't need a lot to be healthy. But your money can buy you a load of freedoms to do something more essential, something more tangible, something more supportful for yourself, for your community, for your family. They are unable to track what they earn and what they spend. So these are the people that they don't really know where their money goes. If you ask them how much percentage you spend on your essential needs, and your essential needs could include your renting or your mortgage, your car repair, your food, your utility bills, and your want could fall into your car repayment or loan repayment. Could come into going out, socializing. So these people might actually spend 80% of their money on socializing alone, and that is a want. And their actual need and their savings is have little impact on their savings. And if you can't start investing without having a savings. And you can't start investing without repay your debt at the same time. You could do the both, but it depends on how much you have at the end of the day. So the rule of thumb suggests that first, you save. You have a good savings habit, and you take the chunk of that savings you have and you invest that to grow it, because it makes no meaning to just keep saving. You have to learn how to grow your money, and you don't spend years saving, and you now giving your money to someone that never grow money before, just because they do the good talk, and you listen to them, and you became lazy by not educating yourself about finances, and you just drop all your savings, and that is foolishness. And that's why financial education is so important, and we need to do it for ourselves, so we can be able to support ourselves. Because by the time you speak with a financial expert, you already have understanding how things work. So when somebody is trying to sell you blocks, you know how to walk away from it or ask the right question. But if you are lacking in this area, you're just going to depend everything on so-called experts. And remember, all these so-called experts, it depends how you made them. If they're working for organization like bank, their interest is not you, it's the bank and the commission they will get at the end of the day. They might push you to a product that in a few years' time might become useless for you, and it can also drain your resources. But once you educate yourself, you also protect yourself to a certain level. There's a difference between a farmer that were educated about land, about farming, about crops, and like the one that just take a chance. He has a land, he has a plant, and he just plants. And he wonder why his crops doesn't grow with the one that is take extra mile to educate himself or herself how to plant a particular seed, how to take the best out of the soil that he has. Hardly this lesson is taught at home where it should start, but unfortunately, many adults do not know themselves. The great thing you can offer a poor person is to make the person think how to make money through service, grow it through savings. So there's some culture that they love money so much and they just want money to come without a service. This is very corrupt mindset. Corrupt mindset means that you will do everything to exploiting other people, to destroy and to take by force, because you just feel entitled to it and you want to use your money to buy a society status. This is not what this podcast is all about. This podcast was about financial accountability and responsibility. If you're already employed, you're already offering a service to your employer. That's the reason why your employer was able to pay you in return, because you bring something in return. So my way of sharing this is to expand what you bring to the service, what you bring to your employer, how what you get, how you can increase it, how you can keep it. So, and this is the reason this podcast is inspire you to use it as a signpost to direct you to the right thing to do. So let's say the few benefits of financial education. Number one, freedom. So what does that mean by freedom? It doesn't mean that you're no longer part of the society. It just means that you're no longer using your time to earn money anymore. Your money becomes earning babies, grandchildren for you, and you throw the compound interest. So, and you want to just spend your interest alone, and the freedom you get is if you kind of person like to travel, you no longer just hide down with the job that you can't travel. If you kind of person like to read and you don't have enough time to read, you no longer feel like you need to work 7 days a week or 5 days a week or 8 hours a day. You might decide that I just want to work 2 hours or 4 hours a day, and you want to spend 4 hours just reading, writing. What did you like to do? So it buy you freedom. It gives you opportunity to escape sometimes. So number two, mental health. It reduces worry and anxiety. So there's a research shows that around 70% or 80% of human physical illnesses that we have, serious ones, diabetes, lung, etc., is come from excessive stress, excessive worries, and we don't know. And our mind and our body are one. So once your mind is really sick and down with a negative emotion, you begin to manifest it physically in your physical body at the same time. And money contributes to this as well. Lack of money make people worry. Lack of money make people borrow money in the places that put them into more trouble, where they have to pay 60% interest on top of what they borrow because of the emergency, how they need that money. Whereas if you have educate yourself enough, and you are putting some money up for emergency, if you have, let's say, £1,000 as emergency, and you have a urgent need of money for £600, it will do you well to take from your emergency rather than go to loan shark and take £600 and they charge you 60% of what you take. So, and that is one. Number 3, generosity. So when you have money, you have a financial education, what will happen? You become more generous, not the opposite. Generous in the sense that because you have a lot of self-discipline and how you spend that money, so you focus on what you need most of the time, not what you want. So you also decided that you can give certain percentage away to less privileged in the society, or you can give to the charity of your choice, or you can even help your friends or family that urgently need it. And you were able to do that because you take responsibility for how you manage that money. Number 4, creative. Number 5, authenticity. And number 6, service oriented. So this one is what created more money for you. It depends how essential the service you render or service that you give, and then you return. It's the law of the universe. In return, you get payback into what you give out. Good deeds. So also, because of self-discipline that you embrace to yourself, you also notice that your health will change. You begin to look after yourself, what you eat, what you drink, how you live your life, who you spend your time with, what you read. All these things that contaminate your mind, you begin to separate yourself from it. And as a result, you get the benefit of a good health. Not all the people with the money have this, but the money have the potential to give you ability to create a healthy lifestyle. Longevity. So this is also the attribute of having the money. So because you live well, you eat well, and you take your time to educate yourself certain area, you also say that you probably have more chances to live longer than your previous relatives that didn't have this opportunity that come or lap into your life. Wealth. So this comes from, you start from your beginning. You might be only able to save certain money, but the more your savings will grow, you also educate yourself enough to know when to invest it or to invest it to. So it depends on the capacity of what you have, and what you invest will determine what you get in return. So if I invest £1,000 and someone else invests £100,000, we don't necessarily going to get the same thing in return, and it depends on what we invest it on. So, and that's how you create the wealth. So the more money you have, you find yourself that you begin to focus on buying asset rather than buying your ability. You don't say, oh, I need to buy this new car that just arrived. You start thinking, if I can't buy a house, can I buy a shop? Who's going to rent it? How much am I going to make every month for the renting? If I cannot bind that, can I buy a disposed machine that can give out medication or give out drinks? And how much it's going to cost me? How much I have in savings? So these are the things that can lead to you become wealthy. And lastly, you're smart and wise. So there is no one that amalgamate money that they are not smart. They're very, very smart people and very wise. They can only spend a few minutes with you and be able to determine smart what is behind your motives. So, and it's a good thing, especially when you live in the world that you really want to help people that actually deserve it, not the people that need it. So, and it's really difficult to know because, firstly, the family will always feel entitled to your resources if you allow them. And once you have to have a boundary. Sometimes they might not want to talk to you anymore, and that is fine. And we're coming toward the end of this podcast. Is overrun a bit today. Many of these benefits may not show up at once, but gradually you will begin to notice them. They are the result of your understanding, taking action that create those benefits. Principle of making money the same as 1,000 years ago, still the same today. It has not changed. Provide services that are relevant to people and return many will come. Service either starting your own business or working for someone. Determine to go extra mile in your endeavor. There are many ways available to develop financial education. So let's look at it. What are that wealth? There are many audiobooks you can read from, even some YouTube videos regarding this topic. You will have to invest your time to learn about it. There is a Chinese proverb that says 20 years ago was the best time to plant a tree. And if you mix 20 years ago, another best time to plant a tree, my friend, is today. Determined to take personal responsibility in your education. Even if you need a financial planner expert, you won't be a complete novice. And surrender your financial future into the hand of a salesman. So don't do that. So I hope this podcast helps someone, and I'm really glad that we bring it to the end, even though we overshoot a bit more today. But this topic is very important to me because I've seen people that they're making so many unnecessary mistakes, which I've made myself in the past and which I continue to educate myself, but it shouldn't be that way. But I hope this podcast helps someone. And if you have anything to say or add, please shoot me an email and I'll get back to you. Have an amazing week and thank you for your time. Ciao. From everyone here, from Life for Living Well, we say hasta luego, amigos. Thank you for your time this week. May your rest of the week be safe and loving. Please subscribe to our channel to keep it going. And you can find more information on our website by visiting www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Goodbye.